Thing about television program, radio, website, is oftentimes I don't get to respond, right? If you're bringing your preconceived notions to what I'm saying and it's a radio program, I don't hear your question and I don't get to respond. Yeah, good. What else?
They were at different levels in their walk.
Yeah, so that's one of those things about being personal. Somebody that never read the Bible, someone that's been a Christian 100 years, or anywhere in between. You've got a lot of different levels there, and if I've got one 30-minute program, I've got to try to share that to all those folks, and that's difficult to do. Yeah, good. What else?
Rejection.
Do it now?
A lot of people reject it.
Okay, yeah, so I can turn the TV off. I can click off the website. And so rejection is real in evangelism no matter how it's done, but this one becomes a little bit easier to reject it. To open up the mailbox and see house to house, heart to heart, and throw it right in the garbage can with the Courier Journal, right? Because that's, no offense, if you love the Courier Journal, I don't ever read it, right? That's just one of those things that just goes right in the garbage can. Some of you maybe really devote your life to that. I know there's some mail carriers here, I think. I know a mail carrier who said that there are some people who they call the post office if they don't get their Courier Journal because they got to have it, right? They live for that each week. But there's some people who come with house to house, heart to heart, an invitation to something religious, a Bible tract, and really pay attention to that, and other people just pay no attention to it. So rejection becomes easy. What else? Good.
A lot of times people just assume you're wanting money, even if it's church. They think that it's...
Yeah, so that's one of those preconceived notions, is one of those is these people, all they're wanting is me to mail them a check. All they're wanting is money, all that's all they care about, and we don't have an opportunity to respond to that. Yeah, so that's one of those things that people come. You also, ties into what Steve said a while ago, it's not personal, but also you can't build relationships that way. And relationships are what makes the church strong. And so this is a great way to reach people initially. And I think about some folks, some missionaries that maybe you're familiar with who have some very, very successful radio programs overseas and very receptive people that are wanting that. And this works great for them. There's some obstacles there, but it's one of these things that's a great tool. And it can help get a foot in the door and get people interested. But still, it's one of those things that's kind of impersonal, hard to build relationships. And also, it's also one of those things that's easy to misunderstand. I've preached sermons before, and I've had people meet me in the lobby or in the foyer afterward, come up and say, "I can't believe you said that," right? And I say, "Well, what did I say?" And they get in this big heated moment, and I say, "I didn't say that. You misunderstood what I said," right? Or we both agreed on the topic, but I didn't do a very good job presenting it, all right? And so if I'm saying something to a large group of people, you might get some misunderstanding, but if me and you were having a one-on-one conversation, I can work that out a whole lot easier than I can standing up here, right? And so some of you may meet me in the foyer tonight, and if you do, understand we probably agree, hopefully. Yeah, what's some other obstacles? Anything you can think of? Notice this quote from one of our books that we've kind of been consulting a little bit in our class. Christian theology sometimes requires us, in no certain terms, to denounce, to use our voices, to say the things that no one wants said, and to say the things we're afraid to say. That's sometimes what our faith is going to require of us, to say things that are uncomfortable, to say things that people don't want to hear. But if we're going to be sharing the message of Jesus, that's going to be something that has to be done. How many times did Jesus say something that made people uncomfortable? How many times did Jesus say something and people came at him ready and really upset at his message? People who loved God, the Pharisees, Sadducees, they loved the Lord. They devoted their life to studying God's law. But when Jesus came and told them the truth, it stepped on their toes sometimes. It wasn't what they wanted to hear. They didn't like being called whitewashed tombs, pretty on the outside and full of dead things on the inside. They didn't like that. And so sometimes when we have conversations with people, we're going to bring up things that people don't want to hear. People are not going to be happy with. But we're thinking about their eternity, and we don't come at them trying to beat them over the head with the Bible or force something on them. We're just sharing something with them that hopefully makes a difference in their life. But that may require that I be uncomfortable in what I say, that I take a stand for what's right, even if someone may not want to hear what's right. So what are some obstacles that we're going to face in personal evangelism? Not thinking about these just broad attempts, but thinking about these narrow ones, right? Think about fishing. There are multiple ways to fish. You can take a big net and throw it out and let it sink to the bottom and then scoop in whatever you get. Or you can go fishing with a rod and reel, and you can put bait on that line that specifically targets a type of fish. You know what they want. You know what they're attracted to. You know how to make that bait move so that that fish catches their attention, right? And so both of those attempts catch fish, right? But they're two different ways of doing it. Evangelism's the same way. Both of them are very useful tools, and I'm not saying that we neglect them. I'm just saying that when we come with them, we need to be aware of what we're getting involved in so that we can appreciate these obstacles and be ready to overcome them. So what are some of those obstacles we face in personal evangelism?
Sometimes it's better to say one word to their three, something like that. Let them talk. Let them tell you what they're interested in.
Okay?